Okay, hopefully you have watched Relations and Functions, and this is Relations and Functions Part 2. It's just the last example that we didn't get to on the previous video. So this is a notation I hope you're familiar with. It's called function notation, as you see here. It's read f of x, and it's another way of representing the y or the output. It's read f of x and it equals y. It means that the function named f has an input of x and an output of y or f of x. Okay? We're mostly familiar actually with this number 3, this third part. I think you've done, when we say f of x equals 2x plus 1, and they ask you to find f of 3. Sorry to go to the third one here, but I'm trying to go to what's the most familiar to you first. We're pretty familiar with what this means is 3 is x. So we're going to put 3 in for x. Instead of 2 times x plus 1, it's 2 times 3 plus 1. And we end up getting 7. Okay? Most of us are okay with that. When we have an equation or we have an expression that represents f of x, we simply substitute that in. Not so familiar with it this way. This is saying f of what is going to give us -1. Now we're looking for the x coordinate. And a lot of times people have trouble substituting the -1 for the f of x. To find this, we're going to say -1 equals 2 times what plus 1? That's what we're asking. -1 equals 2 times what plus 1. So we solve that equation by using our inverse operations. We'll subtract 1. We get -2 equals 2x. Divide both sides by 2. And you get -1 equals x. Well, that's funny. F of -1 equals -1. If I put -1 in for x, I get -1 for y. Happens sometimes. Okay, so that's how that works with an expression, or when you have an equation for f of x. Let's go back now to number 1. The same thing's true here, guys. This is saying when x is 3, what's y? That's what that's saying. I just don't have an equation to put it in. Boy, this drives people crazy. Okay, so I'm saying, okay, well, when x is 3, it looks like, right here's the point we're talking about. It looks like when x is 3, y is -2. You see it? That's what it's asking. It's saying, what is the ordered pair? 3 what? That is a dot in this graph. Okay, here they're saying f of what equals -1. Well, then we want the y coordinate to be -1. We're saying what comma -1? Okay, what number is the x coordinate such that the y coordinate is -1? So now I'm going to look at y being -1, and I notice it's right here. Okay, it looks like y is -1 whenever x is -2. Right, isn't the point -2, -1? There, okay, so -2, -1 is the answer for that. Here, f of 3 means when x is 3, what's y? Well, I can see it's 0, okay? And here saying when y is -1, what's the x that goes with it? Well, that would be 2. F of 2 is -1. Okay, so with mappings, it's not too bad to see. We're used to this. We rarely do this, but I'll tell you what, it's really important as you go higher up in math to understand functional notation and how it relates to a coordinate system. How about an ordered pair? List of ordered pairs. Here's a function. Actually, this isn't a function. Yes, it is. No, it's not. So we really should not be using this notation, okay? But let's just take this one out so that this is a function, okay? F of 3 is 0, because this means when the x coordinate is 3, what's the y coordinate? F of 3 is 0. And then it's asking me f of what is negative 1? Okay, well, when the y coordinate's negative 1, it looks like the x coordinate is 2. Alrighty? Sorry about that typo there. I think I meant that to be a negative 2. But anyway, now that if we have this function, f of 3 is 0, and f of 2 is negative 1. Alrighty, we good, gang? Okay, you can go to the next activity or assignment in your Schoology. Okay? Thanks, guys. Have a great day.